Hello, everyone. This is Dan from USMX Football here, and Chelsea have done it. The 2024-2025 Premier League season is officially over, and I wanted to discuss specifically the Chelsea-Nottingham Forest game, but I'll have a video later discussing the other results from the day. Sorry if it's a little late. I was out of town and had to get some stuff done, so I wasn't able to record, but let's get into the game. So first and foremost, we'll look at the lineups. And we lined up with a familiar back line. James completed the whole 90, which was really awesome. Cucurella, Levi, Big Bro Colwell, Unk Tawson, who at 27, calling him an Unk. That's always nice. And Bobby Sanchez. Moises, Enzo in the pivot. Cole Palmer in the 10. Sancho on the left, Noni on the right, and Neto as the striker. Forrest came out with the 4-3-1-2. With the familiar back line of Sells, Aina, Nico Williams, Milinkovic, and Murillo. Sangare, Nico Dominguez, and Elliot Anderson were ahead of them and were supporting the usual Gibbs White, Alanga, and Chris Wood up top. It's actually identical to the team that they used in their previous match versus West Ham. With the exception of Danilo and Morato, it was also the same substitutions of Cho, Yates, and Jota Silva as well. Something interesting here is it feels like with the return of Sangare, Nuno Santos really wanted to include him in the final 4 or 5 games of the season, which is obvious because he's technically gifted and a defensive beast. Any manager would want that in their starting 11. However, you have to wonder if this small amount of tinkering from the tried and true squad that got them this far to begin with might have played a role let's just say in this game specifically, because someone like Chris Wood had a few decent half chances, but it still felt he lacked not necessarily service, but some sort of outlet or distraction to help him generate a more clear-cut chance or find some more open space, which I think is what we saw with Hudson-Odoi, Alanga, and Gibbs White behind him, giving him just various outlets of attack, whether that be creativity, pace, directness, skill, long shots. You just wonder if had those 3 started, maybe they could have troubled Sanchez a bit more, in my opinion. Chelsea, I thought, were defensively outstanding. I thought they were up for the big occasion, showed real maturity in their organization and unity. With a few minor exceptions, you get the sense everyone was playing for each other and had the same objective in mind of just winning this damn football match by any means. And they got the job done, so I can't complain one bit. In the first half, it was kind of boring, with Chelsea's lack of a striker being obvious in any kind of build-up. Our chances seemed to be finding a space between the defenders for Neto or Noni to run into and either shoot from there or cut back to someone else. However, once the goal did arrive, just 5 minutes into the second half, you got the impression that old Chelsea kicked in, that 2012 Barca UCL semi-Chelsea, that Jose Mourinho Chelsea, and it was just really inspiring, as this was the occasion to step up. This was our cup final, even though we have one on Wednesday. This is way more important, where everything was riding upon it. And they just had to get the job done, and I thought Lavia, Gusto, Dewsbury Hall, they all helped as well, coming on for Sancho, Neto, and Noni. James kind of slotted in that back 3 with Gusto and Cuckoo as the wingbacks and a just block of Enzo, Caicedo, Lavia, and Dewsbury Hall. And I mean, breaking through them 4 already with Cole up top to just kind of press around. And it was funny because towards the end of the game, you see guys like Enzo and Caicedo with this look on their face of like, oh man, it's so nice having this much help to press. Because, I mean, they never get that much help, right? Neto and Noni on the wings will kind of, help them press, but nothing like Lavia, James, and all those guys back there. With all that help, they closed out the game fairly easily. However, there were a few over-the-top long balls that genuinely scared me. But I thought Colwell came up with some really big blocks, as well as Dewsbury Hall. Big blocks and big clearances. I was just so impressed with Levi and the tremendous work he's done in the last couple of months to really improve as a defender. The man just turned 22 in February and has done an excellent job growing into that leader role at such a young age. Having the awareness in that game to track Neto and his cross for the goal and just tap it in. Brilliant work to just cap off what was, in my opinion, a rocky start to the season, but he's finished fantastically. And I'm just excited what happens next season, as I imagine he could easily get into the England squad under Tuchel, and as a starter. Easily he was man of the match, and he's going to finish the season with 2 goals, 1 assist, 35 games played, and 43 goals conceded. Third best defense in the league, by the way, alongside 10 clean sheets, 11 in total. I think he just missed that one versus Southampton, if I'm not mistaken. And it's an overall solid year if you look at it in its totality, not just from Levi, but the backline as a whole. Chalobah, Tosin, Cucurella, James. And yes, in recent weeks, even Sanchez too. If we're going to critique him week in and week out for any mistake he does, I think the praise needs to be just as loud. So credit to Sanchez. And I also wanted to give a shout out to the manager, Enzo Maresca. Even though I've never been 100% convinced that he's the man to guide us back to title challenges and UCLs, I think this season he's earned the opportunity to continue his work here. He's brought real stability and organization to a defense that was chaotic, to say the least, last season. And maybe he hasn't 100% figured out his best attacking lineup, but he's made do with what he's had. Coles continued to put up big numbers despite a dry patch a couple months into the new year. Maresca had to work with him there to keep him on track, and his confidence still looks pretty good despite that dry patch. And you know what? Caicedo's so good, and maybe he would have won Player of the Season without Maresca, but I think he's gotten the best out of him and Enzo in that midfield. And you also have to look at introducing young players like Tyrick George, Mweka, Achimpong, etc. All the while fighting off injuries and suspensions to key players, just like every other team in the league. And I think maybe the discipline needs some improvement, but with such a young team, I mean, it's only natural that's going to happen. With that result, alongside Newcastle and Villa not picking up points, that sees us finish 4th with 69 points, and most importantly, in the Champions League next season. Overall, maybe not the perfect season in review, if you'd ask us at the start of the season if we'd take European silverware, fairly deep domestic cup runs, and top 4, I think any Chelsea fan would bite your hand off for that. All the while sticking with our manager, growing closer as a unit, as a squad, and individuals improving as well. I think it's a season to be proud of, and I think I'm going to cut it here for now. I'll have a separate video, like I said, of the other results, but for now, thank you, Chelsea. It's been a good season. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I hope you guys have a good one. Peace.